finding scholarship opportunities for them to go abroad and further their education. In this day and time, it's very hard for kids coming up, and so we try to find means within the Jonquil arena, but at the same time use just Jonquil as the outlet to make them better at night. Crime-free? Looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Dr. Gale, and I'm inviting you to be a part of a journey where we open the Word of God to receive strength, to receive empowerment from the Scriptures as they have been written. Get your Bibles, get your cup of coffee or your tea, because this journey is gonna be great. This is your day of victory.
Summer in the Bahamas. The weather is hot, but not as hot as the ZNS summer packages. Get ads on ZNS TV or ZNS Radio Network or the TV community page, or a combination of all three. ZNS has got you covered with great prices, whatever package you choose. Book before June 7th and get the local Federation Championship Baseball bonus full of all kinds of extras free of charge. Contact your account executive or call ZNS Sales at 502-3800 today. Hot summer package rates valid until July 31st.
With our adoption by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
We figured that we could use the First Bahamas branch of Toastmasters Club 1600, an all-male club that specializes and focuses on developing young men for leadership through communication.
This program has grown and has impacted our school in such a positive way that I don't think we'll ever have them leave us.
Too often, instead of us looking within, we look outside for someone to blame. Go take a look in the mirror. Instead of trying to identify what the problems are, let's try and figure out how we become a part of the solution.
We are teaching these children how to dream beyond their community.
Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
I have been coming to this island since I was 12 years old. It didn't take me long to realize the rich history it has here. When I bought this island in 2018, I fulfilled a lifelong dream. The goal is not only to preserve the memories I made over those years, but to make new ones and to give others the opportunity to do the same. As we go through this process, it has become clear to me, we aren't just rebuilding an island, we're reviving a legend.
Here in the Caribbean region, our climate is changing, resulting in intense heat as temperatures soar. This increase in temperature is having a significant impact on our energy sector.
With the increase in temperatures, we, of course, are expecting an increase in the use of electricity or cooling, etc. So there's an increased demand on the utility companies to, provide for that overload on their systems.
The hotter it gets, the more energy need there is for cooling among the population, but also the harder it becomes for electricity to be produced. So the efficiency of electricity production is typically also lower when it's really hot.
But there are ways we can help. Simple actions can make a big difference.
There are certain measures that we can take to make sure that we mitigate some of the possible impacts, such as using LED bulbs.
It's up to all of us to take proactive steps. Stay informed and prepared. Together, we can weather this storm. For more information and updates, follow CIMH on X, Facebook, and Instagram.
Join us each Sunday at 5 p.m. and Tuesdays at 2:30 p.m. for Legends, the Untold Story, here on the ZNS Television Network.
about me.
What about you, what?
Well, I thirsty too, you know.
You want to see all the water out there?
Well, why you don't give me your water, and then you go try and drink that salt water?
You crazy, eh?
I ain't the one talking to a dog, you know.
Ain't nobody can drink salt water.
Then why you won't give it to me? All dogs need fresh, cool water and sufficient shelter from the sun all year round, especially on the beach and during the hot summer months.
Summers are very hot here in the Bahamas, so please make sure all pets have ample, cool, fresh water in proper containers and sufficient shelter from the sun, even on the beach. And make sure all dog houses and kennels have proper ventilation. Let's make it Bahamian to be humane.
This message has been brought to you by the Bahamas Humane Society and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
What does disability look like? In a busy airport terminal, at the check-in counter, at security checkpoints, or even in baggage claim? Passengers with hidden disabilities often go unnoticed. Globally, 1 in 7 persons have some form of a disability. 80% of those disabilities are non-visible. In an airport environment, workers are often unaware of hidden physical, mental, or neurological disabilities that some passengers live with. This can lead to frustration and a less than ideal travel experience. So, how do we make the invisible more visible? At LPIA, we've implemented the Sunflower Lanyard program. The lanyards are visual cues for airport workers to immediately identify passengers who might need additional assistance. NAD is teaming up with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities and key stakeholders at LPIA to launch the internationally recognized initiative. We're joining more than 180 airports and 26 countries already in the program. NAD is the first organization in the Bahamas to recognize the Sunflower Initiative. It's a way to show our continued commitment to making LPIA a safe, welcoming, and inclusive airport for all. Passengers needing to secure a free Sunflower lanyard can email sunflower@nas.bs or call 1242-397-8600. For more information, visit www.nassauLPIA.com.
The thought of colon cancer never really crossed my mind until 2019, when a very good friend of mine was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. I was shocked. Everybody was shocked because he was a picture of perfect health. He was young, athletic, successful, and full of life. Many of us are still in disbelief. I started to question my own health because if it happened to him, surely it could happen to me. Then came the fear, the anxiety, and everything else in between. Facing your own mortality is very sobering. But for me, I decided right then to have a colonoscopy, and I'm glad I did.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer diagnosed in Bahamian men and women. Fortunately, almost all colon cancers are preventable. A colonoscopy or some other appropriate form of colon cancer screening is recommended for everyone over the age of 45. During a colonoscopy, we can detect and remove colon polyps that may grow and later become colon cancers. Don't wait until you develop symptoms, such as blood in your stool, abdominal pain, a significant change in your bowel habits, or unintentional weight loss. These may all be indications of a severe problem that requires immediate attention. If you're over the age of 45 or have any of those symptoms, talk to your doctor about the benefits of colon cancer screening today.
The National Voice turns 89, and we're inviting you to celebrate with us. Sunday, May 25th, we're taking you to church for our 11 a.m. service live from Grace Community Church in Palmetto Avenue. Then, join us for the Awesome God concert live from Southland Cathedral on Soldier Road beginning promptly at 7 p.m. I'm talking Christopher Roberts, Simeon Alden, Shabak, Dwight and Brister, E-Man, Carity Newton and Southland Music, DJ Godson, and much more. This concert is totally free, so come and celebrate with us.
We seem to remember our athletes when they make us proud at the finish line. Throw a Junkanoo parade when they return home, toss them a few dollars, and then forget about them until the next Members of the prestigious Fourth Estate should never sell themselves to any politician. Instead, keep their hands and noses clean in order to publish or broadcast the unadulterated truth. Well, that's how I see it anyway.
Read as I see it, exclusively at ZNSBahamas.com. New articles premiere on Mondays at 9 a.m.
Join us each Sunday at 5 p.m. and Tuesdays at 2:30 p.m. for Legends, the Untold Story, here on the ZNS Television Network.
Covering the news seems easy, but we put thought into what we're doing. The Bahamas Tonight Access Now, here to inform, educate, and entertain. A new type of newscast featuring social media trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like in our communities, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight Access Now with Marlena Leonard and LaDon Davis. 7:30, Monday to Friday. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome to What's Trending. Join me, Jiminita Swain.
And me, The Bahama Beauty, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m.
Only on the ZNS Network. Planning the execution of a newscast is serious business. From the assignment to the concept of the story, everything has to be precise, on point, always. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, is your trusted news service. We get it right the first time. Our preparation for you each night is done with care, knowing that our voices will reach you on 700 islands and keys with unquestionable accuracy. It gives me great pleasure each night to say,
welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm your national anchor, Mukesh Lopinder.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, Grand Bahama turns the page to its next chapter as the work begins to restart that island's powerful economic engine. Also, a major drug bust in the southern Bahamas leaves 5 men in the hands of the police. And politicians, justices, and clergymen all paying tribute to a fallen nationalist. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. Apologies for our late start tonight, but smiles, applause, cheers, and handshakes all around. After a series of starts and stops, it's a done deal. The government today locked down a nearly $1 billion heads of agreement for the purchase of the Grand Lucayan Resort, clearing the way for demolition and, more importantly, renewed hope that the rebirth of Grand Bahama's economy is taking shape. Our team coverage starts tonight with Devontae Hanna. Devontae?
Well, Makushla, it's a brand new chapter for Grand Bahama and perhaps one of the most ambitious yet. Today, officials unveiled the brand new deal for the redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan Resort, a deal that has been long awaited by residents and, of course, Bahamians across the length and breadth of the country. And officials are hoping that with this brand new deal, it can revitalize the economy of Grand Bahama and the people here. Joan Davis Roll has the full rundown of all of today's events. Take a look.
It was a grand day on Grand Bahama as a new chapter was written in this island's history. Holding the golden pen was none other than the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis. Delayed but not denied, as the historic signing of the heads of agreement signaling the sale of the multi-million-dollar Grand Lucayan Resort was held. Hailed as the visionary and beaming with pride as he rose to the podium and to standing ovation, the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis.
I intend to leave behind real results for the people of Grand Bahama. Jobs, infrastructure, healthcare, opportunity, and most of all, dignity. That's what matters. That's what lasts. What a blessing it is to be here with you today, to be able to come together to share triumph rather than tragedy. Every island in our country carries its own story, but Grand Bahama's story is unlike any other. You have faced economic downturns and the strongest storms in nature's arsenal. Yet no matter the force of devastation, when the waters recede, the people of Grand Bahama rise.
Excited and introducing the master plan for this massive redevelopment, which carries a price tag in excess of $300 million, was Concord Wilshire executive Nate Sarang, along with the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie.
I would like to especially thank Honorable Prime Minister Davis, who has put so much time, energy, effort, and heart into this asset. And thank you for trusting our company with this beautiful resort and this opportunity to not only reignite this resort, but to create one of the most unique mixed-use destination resorts in the Bahamas.
Today is another grand day, and this right here is a very, very big deal for the people of Grand Bahama Island.
One of the most stirring messages delivered from this podium today came from a top executive of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, who not only sang the praises of the government, but indeed the Prime Minister.
This deal had the fingerprints of leadership on it. It got special attention from our Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Philip Brave Davis.
The deal has now been sealed, and Grand Bahama's ship has finally come in. And in the words of the Prime Minister, all and sundry are welcome to be a part of this new and exciting chapter of this northern island. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Joan Davis Roll.
Well, as you can tell, it's been a pretty historic day and one that will be remembered, I'm sure, for a lot of Grand Bahamians. This particular day, that signing, definitely a historic one. But right now, we're in Port Lucayan, which sits just opposite the Grand Lucayan property, and it's the place where a celebration of sorts is happening. I can tell you that there are people from all walks of life that are here enjoying the music of this band that you can see behind me, and all celebrating what they're considering a win for the city of Freeport, and of course the entire island and the country at large. We heard from the Prime Minister and the Director of Aviation, who both said that an airport is on the way for Grand Bahama, and they are hoping that this new revitalization will shore up this economy and build it back after dealing with COVID-19, Hurricane Dorian, and several other hurricanes and storms over the past few years. So right now from Port Lucayan, we're going to be live here for the rest of the night, so stay tuned. I'm going to send it back to you in studio, Makushla.
Well, thanks, Devontae. Now, standing room only, as you saw in our footage earlier at today's historic signing over in Grand Bahama. Ramiko Knowles had a bird's eye view of all of it. Ramiko, what can you tell us? Well, from the Grand Lucaya, before we get to our Ramiko Knowles, we can tell you, as indicated by Devontae Hanna, that celebrations continuing at the Grand Lucaya, Port Lucaya, right next door to the Port Lucaya, that's right next door to the Grand Lucayan Hotel. Those in attendance enjoying an impressive rush out featuring Grand Bahama Junkanoo groups. It was there that Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, declared that his administration will ensure Grand Bahama businesses will have access to those opportunities. But before we go there, we return now to our Ramiko Knowles for all of the excitement that happened earlier today.
Well, Makushla, it is a promise that has been signed, sealed, and delivered by the Davis-Cooper administration, and one that the people of Grand Bahama have been calling for and waiting on for so many years. And it happened today, and the excitement is definitely brewing in the atmosphere. Many of people are just waiting to see what happens next, and that will be the next question. How long will the developments take to happen? We were inside the Grand Ballroom all day where the Deputy Prime Minister, the Minister for Grand Bahama, along with the nation's leader Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, and the developers spoke. Cleopatra Murphy has that story.
The Grand Lucayan Resort will soon be underway after President of Concord Wilshire, Nate Sarang, unveiled plans for the $827 million investment set to include a 35-acre destination resort, a 350-room branded hotel, and a 120-unit timeshare residential resort during a ceremony for the signing of the heads of agreement for what will become the new Grand Lucayan Resort and Village Thursday.
We collaborate and we design and build with the cities and the communities around our projects. And that's exactly why the Grand Lucayan was such a perfect fit for us. We're committed to being here besides you as your neighbors and partners to bring back tourism, jobs, and a strong economy to Freeport. But most importantly, to bring a lot of your Grand Bahamians back home.
It is a 7-cylinder project inclusive of a golf course, casino, and other features. Minister of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, says the sale sets the foundation for long-term economic growth for Grand Bahama, adamant that with Concord Wilshire, government has struck the right deal.
A redeveloped Grand Lucayan Hotel and the surrounding areas is a key plank in the overall ecosystem of this island. With nearly $1 billion of new investment today, the project is intended to be redeveloped, as you have already seen and heard, as a first-class, world-class, not just a resort, but a world-class destination in and of itself.
It's set to create 1,750 permanent jobs, and Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, says the signing signals renewed hope and better days ahead for Grand Bahama.
The redevelopment of this iconic property will stimulate jobs, create more opportunities for local businesses and entrepreneurs, generate new developments in the hospitality, retail, and real estate sectors, increase heads and beds, and breathe new life into our island.
Grand Bahama Port Authority President Ian Roll also praised the deal, one he says the body is pleased to partner with government on.
What was closed is being reopened. What was lost is being redeemed. This is not just a milestone. It was a marathon. And now we declare that the race was not in vain.
U.S. Chargé d'Affaires Kimberly Furnish says it's a momentous occasion that marks a new beginning for the resort and Grand Bahama.
We are thrilled to witness firsthand the revitalization of Grand Bahama. And we are even more elated to know that a U.S. company and U.S. investment are leading the way in strategic and impactful foreign investments on this island.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Kushla government officials also said today that 1,300 jobs will be created during the reconstruction phase and 1,700 permanent jobs once it is completed. It is something that, once again, Grand Bahama has been waiting on for so many years. This redevelopment, according to the Prime Minister, is nearly $1 billion. And so that goes to show you how important, not only important, but how this development will shape Grand Bahama and the people of Grand Bahama. We also had an opportunity to look at some of the renderings today, and it is completely amazing. And so, as a Grand Bahamian, I am appreciative of so many things that are happening today, and I can tell you the people in Port Lagaya Marketplace are continuing the celebration. The band is still playing, the music is still live, and there are so many people that are just sitting and enjoying themselves. I mean, hours after the Prime Minister made his address, and so people are here enjoying the festivities, and this night will continue to be an amazing one, and it will certainly go down in the history books for Grand Bahama. Back to you in studio.
Well, thanks, Ramiko. As you can hear, the celebration spilled over from the Grand Lucayan Resort to the Port Lukaya Marketplace, where the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, made this appeal to Grand Bahamians.
Stay ready. Build, train, hire, collaborate, improve, prepare. Because I believe this island is turning the corner. And when we do, I want everyone who stayed through the struggle to be standing tall in the success. The future we are building is about Bahamians. It's about local families being able to grow a business, send their children to school, and build a life right here in Grand Bahama.
Now, Grand Bahama, just one of the islands on which the government is keen on expanding opportunities. And according to Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, tapping into that economic empowerment means going after the key driver of the economy, tourism.
There is a severe shortage of hotel rooms in Exuma across the country. So there's opportunities, as we all know, for short-term rentals. As Aaron pointed out, also for long-term housing. We must look at tourism as the driver, but we must look at all of the opportunities that are indirectly connected thereto. Agriculture, for example, if you had the opportunity to get a containerized farm to be able to grow leafy greens, lettuce, etc., you would be able to supply the entire island of Exuma. We must simply look at a problem that exists and seek to solve it. Start at a very basic level and move from there. But I invite Bahamians to not just think of the small things.
All the minister asks is that Exumians, who turned out for an SBDC town meeting in Georgetown last evening, to be innovative and creative with the financial backing of the SBDC as help. In fact, its executive director, Samantha Roll, says of the over $90 million in grants, loans, and equity funding, Exuma has secured about $1.3 million. Still, she accepts that's not enough.
One of our key things is while we can provide access to capital is important. One thing to start a business, it's another thing to get the money in order to fund that business. But you want to be able to sustain. And so it's important through our programs, $3.99, but it is absolutely invaluable.
Coming up, the Ministry of Education responds to the odor impact of last month's fire on neighboring schools. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
Imagine a world where every brand knows your name and every store awaits your arrival. Elite shopping. Travel where luxury is a lifestyle and every journey feels like home. Dine where every flavor is just for you, every table reserved, and every moment a taste of perfection. Make every big moment even bigger. Experience banking where wealth isn't just managed, it's maximized. Step into a world without limits. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
one key, irresistible taste of a KFC big deal, some people will do anything. KFC is finger-licking good.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
When your hands are too full, life is just too complicated. Nala, Sally, come here. Uncomplicate. Go faster, safer, greener with the digital way to pay. With Tap to Pay, it's as easy as a gentle touch. No more headaches. Say hello to convenience. The future of pay is digital with options like credit cards, debit cards, online banking, and digital wallets. Make every experience unforgettable. Embrace the ease of digital payments today.
Do you ever just want more?
But wait, there's Marco's! Introducing the More Marco's menu, packed with your favorites starting at just $6. Like our warm, golden baked cheesy bread, crispy stuffed risotto. How about a hot, fresh, medium one-topping pizza, subs, calzones, pizza bowls, and more. Starting at just $6. Certain restrictions apply. More variety, more value, more Marco. Order today at Marco's Pizza, Bahamas.
Man, this ain't making no sense, man. How people making it out here, Dre?
If you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, you gotta learn how to budget. First, write down all of your income. Then, list out all of your expenses. And don't forget to save. Stop throwing away money. Put something aside for savings. And get this, government savings bonds can safely grow your money. So start budgeting, save your coins, and invest smart. Financial independence, way. Wait, financial independence, way. Learn how to invest in government savings bonds on the Central Bank of the Bahamas website.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
Well, you're looking at an aerial shot there of the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort. And that shot courtesy of our esteemed drone pilot, Neville Smith. Welcome back. A joint operation in Long Key leads to a substantial drug seizure and the arrest of those attempting to carry out. Corval Python reports that the suspects and the drugs are now both in the hands of authorities.
In all, 66 sacks, more than 50 of them containing marijuana, the others cocaine, seized in a joint operation with Bahamian law enforcement and OPAP partners off Long Key Wednesday afternoon. Superintendent Wendy Pearson is with the Drug Enforcement Unit. She says a tip led officers to Marina and then the subsequent arrest of several suspects.
The officers observed a number of males offloading a number of packages onto a truck. This truck was then observed going to a residence where these males were again seen offloading these packages into a shed. As a result of that, officers from the Auckland District and Crooked Island District were notified, where they went to this residence where they found 5 Bahamian males ranging in ages of 36 to 25, where they took those males to the shed where they saw in plain view a number of coca sacks. When they were examined, they contained marijuana and cocaine.
The suspects were transported to New Providence, where they are now detained. 2 King Air 350 aircraft, which normally seat 16 passengers, brought the drugs to Odyssey Aviation Thursday afternoon. The confiscated drugs that had been laid out stood at more than 3 feet high, placed in an aircraft hangar before being loaded onto a truck to be weighed and counted. This is the latest major drug seizure this year. Earlier in the year, more than $400,000 worth of drugs were found during an operation in Grand Bahama. And in late 2024, another substantial seizure off Mayaguana. Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police Roberto Goodman believes these successes underscore the effectiveness and strength of this multinational, multi-agency partnership.
And so for those drug traffickers who continue those drug trafficking organizations, who continue to try to traffic drugs in our Bahama land, I want you to know that drug enforcement unit is out there and the police is out there. We work jointly with the U.S. counterparts, and we have our own law enforcement here, the Royal Bahamas Police Force and also the Defense Force, who will also be able to protect our borders from illegal narcotics entering the Bahamas.
Now, authorities say it is still too early to estimate exactly the value of this fine. As we said, investigations are ongoing. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pfeiffer.
Now, police officials have since pegged the estimated weight of the cocaine at 687 pounds, the value nearly $7 million, while the 1,650 pounds of marijuana's worth an estimated $1,900. In other news this evening, the U.S. and China may have pumped the brakes on their trade war, but head of the Local Contractors Association says its impact is already cutting into that sector, with consumers feeling the blow. Lloyd Allen has the story.
The Bahamas Contractors Association noting some challenges following the ongoing trade war between the United States and global partners. But despite this, President of the association, Leonard Sands, noting that they continue to remain on the ground in conversation to improve conditions for all.
I think what is the biggest concern of the local construction industry, because of these tariffs, because of these increased costs, is the end user, the consumer.
Sands is convinced the changes will be slow but incremental.
If you're only able to qualify for, let's say, $250,000, and now you have a 10% increase on all goods and service what comes in, that's not a 10% increase on $250,000. That's about half that amount, because that's all your materials. Now your $125,000 has gone up by 10% more, and that's not significant. But if your ceiling for your loan was only $250,000, you no longer qualify for that loan.
Sands adds that if reapplication fails, some are forced to scale down on construction.
I don't think persons appreciate that the numbers of persons being able to qualify for homes is reducing, and our businesses, while the tariff increases continue to hamper and cause this to be a very difficult space for the homeowners or potential homeowners and then contractors.
Meantime, the association is doing all it can to make up for the possible shortfall.
The Bahamian Contractors Association is actively engaging in numerous of conversations. We're talking to the banks, we're talking to lenders who are not declaring banks, and we're talking about how do we help that person bridge the gap.
Sands advises homeowners to seek qualified contractors and remain alert for changes that could very well impact their ability to own a home. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, 1 month since that massive fire swept through AML Solomon's and Costrite Old Trail stores and a number of the Department of Labor's neighboring new offices, Works Minister, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, tells us protocols are in place allowing for the clearing of the property and reconstruction efforts.
With any fire situation, of course, the police has to do their investigation. So once they do their investigation and they apply for the demolition, there'll be no issue getting that sorted out. So most issues with that would be tied to police investigation to see how the fire started, how it spread, the cause of the fire, and all of that.
Meantime, environmental officials pinning down the source of that stench that's affected students, teachers, and staff in the Robinson Road area to a business impacted by last month's nearby fire. Earlier this week, our news team spoke with C.H. Reeves principal, Dr. Sterling McPhee, who described the odor as deeply unsettling. Well, in a release today, the Ministry of Education assured that it's reached out to the parent company of the business responsible and has been advised by its VP of Marketing that the matter is being resolved. Now, the district superintendent, along with the principals and shop stewards of the respective schools, have created a contingency plan that allows, where necessary, for students to be temporarily placed at local churches. The outside of the upper chamber draped in black, a small table adorned with an arrangement and a book of condolences greeted mourners who filed into the Senate to get a final view of one of its esteemed presidents. Lloyd Allen has the report.
Of the former parliamentarian, former leader of the opposition, and former president of the Senate lied in state in the Senate building on Thursday. Dignitaries arrived just after 9 a.m. to sign the Book of Condolences while offering comfort to Boswick's family. Senate President, the Honorable Lachelle Adderley, described Bostwick as a fallen hero.
I always admired the fact that he was a politician, a dynamic defense attorney, and he believed in this country, a remarkable patriotic behavior.
Former Prime Ministers, the Right Honorable Hubert Ingram and Right Honorable Perry Christie, also reminisced on the veteran politician's life.
It was my honor to make him a Queen's Counsel. He became the second Queen's Counsel appointed in the Bahamas the last 45, 50 years. He spoke openly about issues. He never minced his words. He had a great passion for people.
Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard and Chief Justice Sir Ian Winder both personally and professionally celebrated Bostwick's contribution to national development.
He was a mentor. He is someone who poured the best of himself into so many young, aspiring politicians or activists, and you did not have to be on the team that he supported.
And he was one of those lawyers who didn't keep his cards behind his back. He appraised you as to what he was going to do because he was that confident in this case.
Even House of Assembly Chief Clerk David Forbes underscored how the late politician's career remains unforgettable.
His contribution to the debates was very vigorous and very thorough and well studied.
And for those who knew him well, say the contributions made in Parliament and throughout the Bahamas will forever be celebrated. Reporting from the House of Assembly for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, Michelle Knowles has a look at what's coming up in sports.
And the GSSA Sudden Death Soccer playoffs are underway. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Hello?
Hey girl, what you saying? I just was calling to check up on you.
Hey girl, everything fine, but I just can't talk right now. I gotta go to the clinic.
The clinic? Everything okay with you?
Yeah girl, everything fine with me. I just trying to get this little one ready because he has an appointment for his childhood vaccination.
Well, Logan's 6 years old. I haven't taken him for his last vaccine appointment since before the pandemic.
Did you know that the childhood vaccinations could protect these little ones from preventable diseases like polio, rubella, measles, and mumps? So these vaccinations for the little ones is the best we could do for them.
I'm going to make that appointment for him because I need him to get up to date with all of his vaccines. Let me let you go, but call me back when you come back home.
Mommy, I need to go get my vaccines.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, PAHO WHO, and the Canadian government.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm a survey enumerator with the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, or BNSI. For the next few months, we will be conducting the Household Expenditure Survey on various islands.
You might be wondering, why is this survey important? Well, it helps us to determine the poverty line and assess how to ensure everyone has access to the basic services they need. This information is used by the government, businesses, researchers, and students to make informed decisions and plan for the future. We know that your time is valuable, which is why we've made the survey as simple and easy as possible. And don't worry, all your information you provide is confidential.
Your participation will help us gather accurate information that will benefit everyone in the Bahamas. Thank you for your cooperation and being a part of shaping the future of the Bahamas.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 700 Wines and Spirits, bringing celebration across the nation.
Welcome to your Thursday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. It was a do-or-die on Wednesday at the Roscoe Davies soccer pitch as 8 teams trying to punch their ticket to the championship game in the GSSA Sudden Death Soccer Playoffs. Our Eugene Stewart tells us who advanced in this report.
In the senior girls division, this one was the Kenesha Capron show as Capron would score all 5 of the R.M. Bailey Pacers goals to take down the Government High Magic Phoenix. As the Pacers awaited their opponent, defending senior girls champs, the C.R. Walker Knights, took care of business to secure their spot in yet another championship by stinging the Rattlers of C.I. Gibson 3-0. On the senior boys side, a low-scoring affair between the Doris Johnson Mystic Marlins and the Government High Magic Phoenix, as the Magic Phoenix would stay on top of this one 1-0 throughout the first half. The Mystic Marlins, holding strong defense, would keep the Magic Phoenix to their lone goal as they looked to tie things up. In the final seconds, Government High would put the ball to the net to make it 2-0 to advance to the championship. A fast-paced matchup between the Anatole Rogers Timberwolves and the Stingrays of C.V. Bethel as the Timberwolves would go up quickly in the match 3-0 at halftime. The Stingrays would answer back to score their first goal to begin the second half, but in the end, the Timberwolves would rack up 4 more goals to close this one out 7-1. Senior boys and girls matchups begin on Friday at the Roscoe Davies playing field. Reporting for ZNS Total Sports, I'm Eugene Stewart.
Lakers Hall of Famer Magic Johnson over the weekend spoke to Next Gen Young Men Mentorship Program at the Bahamar Resort. Magic speaking to the group about triumphing over adversity, building his global business legacy, and embracing core values like discipline, education, and belief in oneself. Johnson also, while here, would pay a courtesy call to the nation's chief prime minister, the Honorable Philip Davis. And that's when we look at your sports on this Thursday. A check on weather when we return.
Diet-friendly special.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
The new stuffed crust cheddar flavor has a taste you'll enjoy.
Outside and inside.
With a delicious stuffed crust covered in irresistible cheddar flavor. Come and try the new stuffed crust cheddar flavor only at Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza.
What you saying? I just was calling to check up on you.
Hey, girl, everything fine, but I just can't talk right now. I gotta go to the clinic.
The clinic? Everything okay with you?
Yeah, girl, everything fine with me. I just trying to get this little one ready because he has an appointment for his childhood vaccination.
Well, Logan's 6 years old. I haven't taken him for his last vaccine appointment since before the pandemic.
Did you know that the childhood vaccinations could protect these little ones from preventable diseases like polio, rubella, measles, and mumps? So these vaccinations for the little ones is the best we could do for them.
I'm going to make that appointment for him because I need him to get up to date with all of his vaccines. Let me let you go, but call me back when you come back home.
Mommy, I need to go get my vaccines.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, PAHO WHO, and the Canadian government.
We're all in this boat together. It takes a team to do it. It doesn't take one person or 3 people, 5 people. It takes a team of people to pull this thing off.
We have about 72 employees in Freeport, and the rest are in Nassau, Abel-Kona, Luthra, a total of over 165.
A lot of people are not aware that SANS is brewed here in the Bahamas. It's made, it's produced here in Grand Bahama Island after Dorian, and especially during the pandemic. Every time I saw a bottle of beer, every time I saw a SANS product, it represented resilience.
The only thing I can say to the Bahamian people is to support your own.
All of us are in this boat together, our staff, the country, everyone. And we've been through a lot of rough patches, taken on water, bail the water out, and now it's time to be sailing forward. And we need everyone's support to make that happen.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow.
Imagine biting into a Bahamian-grown sweet potato, so rich in flavor and nutrition that it rivals imports, and knowing it came straight from your local farmer. That's the future the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute is working towards with its newest project at the Gladstone Road Agricultural Center.
Sweet potatoes are one of the most popular roots and tubers here in the Bahamas. And because of that, one of the complaints that we do get is that farmers sometimes don't have access to new planting material. So one of the things that we did is that we first started about 3 years ago with just 2 varieties. And when we visit farms or we visit some of the family islands, we would take samples or cuttings, or better known as slips, from the sweet potatoes, and we would propagate it in our greenhouse.
Cardi's country representative, Dr. Shelly-Ann Bridgewater, further explains the purpose of their work.
So part of our work is to do some research and record data in terms of how they're yielding, how their growing habits are, what is the ability to withstand the conditions of the Bahamas. And, of course, we can't forget, when it's time for harvesting, we're going to be looking at the tubers and even trying to do some taste tests to see what is the preference of the consumer.
A living treasure chest of sweet potato varieties collected from across the Bahamas and beyond, from islands like New Providence, Andros, and Long Island to international sources like Cuba. These varieties are now being nurtured to multiply and eventually supply local farmers with high-quality planting slips.
So right now on this field, we actually have about 14 varieties. Some of them are from local origin, and some of them came out of Cuba from the organization INIFIT. So one of the benefits of this is germplasm conservation, and it's actually a very important aspect of agriculture because many times we lose a lot of our planting material, either it be due to farming practices or sometimes it's just as a result of the weather conditions. A lot is lost during the hurricane. So one of the things is this field is actually to provide farmers with alternative planting material and new planting material that they have not used.
And if you're interested in grabbing any of the slips Cardi has available, contact them at 603-2320. That's 603-2320. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
Well, it's time now for a check on tonight's weather forecast, and for that we turn to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean.
It's time now for your ZNS evening weather forecast, and we are some 16 days out from the start of the official hurricane season, and Colorado State University, while they're predicting 17 named storms, 9 of those will become hurricanes, and we're looking at 4 major hurricanes. So this is a good time to take care of those preseason precautions. And our satellite picture, well, our radar is showing dry conditions return to the northwest Bahamas after 2 days of torrential rainfall. That system which brought those rains are now over the southeast Bahamas, pushing towards the south and east, so we still have 1 or 2 little pockets in the extreme southeastern parts of our country. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Live Business, where we bulk up your business. In the northwestern central islands tonight through Saturday, you can expect light and variable winds with flat seas. High tide, well, that will take place at 10:39 tonight, with another high tide at 10:55 tomorrow morning. Now for the southeast Bahamas through Saturday, easterly winds 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet, making beautiful boating conditions for the next few days. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
When I'm walking down them rocky, narrow dirt roads, with a basket of potatoes on my head, oh, don't you worry, I come from down home. That's where the island folks bake their potato bread. They bake it down home, outside in the Dutch oven down home, wrapped in banana leaf down home.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. Okay, sir.
Well, thanks, Basil. And that does it for the National Report. But stay close. The Rundown with Clint Watson is up next, live from Grand Bahama. Good night.
This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Bahamas National Trust in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
For 60 years, we have been here, the voice of the environment. Here, speaking up and for your national parks, all across the islands of this nation. The places God visits for vacation, spanning over 2.5 million acres of land and sea. How delighted then he must be to see a sea of pink, as flamingos mingle and haven like jingles play where queen counts still sleep. And if you listen, you can hear it. The words of gossiping parrots awaiting the diction of the day. All 365 of them, that's every day and every year, 15,000 children share in the beauty of this playground. Our name is yours. And we have been yours for years unnoticed. Don't forget us. Support us. Your national parks. The defenders of your environment. Join us. Remember, our cause is yours. The first land and sea park in the world is yours. Heritage. Here it is. When was the last time you gasped at our scenery, gotten lost in the depth of our reefs, or even awed at the green of the leaves of our trees? Don't hesitate to donate and volunteer. Don't hesitate to care. We are here for you. The Bahamas National Trust, BNT. 3 letters that spell out simply, perfectly, and undoubtedly that we are yours.
When Christopher Columbus first arrived in the Bahamas, he was so struck by the numbers of Bahama parrots he encountered that he wrote in his log, "Flocks of parrots darken the sun." Sadly, this is not the case today. Once found throughout the Bahamian archipelago, the parrot now resides only on the northernmost island of Abaco and the southernmost island of Inagua.
We have those 2 breeding populations here in the Bahamas. We have the northern breeding population in Abaco, and then we have that the breeding population in Inagua.
In Inagua, they nest in the trees, which is normal. Then you come to Abaco, and they nest in the ground. It's just like, oh, okay. And you know, it's one thing to read about it and to hear persons talk about it, and it's another thing to actually go into the park and see the parrots nesting in the ground as they lost their habitat. That was the next best thing, because if they can't find appropriate trees to nest in, then they'll go to the ground. But I'd like to ask some parrots, you know, because that's not the best spot to be nesting in.
So that in itself is a challenge. And we're going to be working with Caroline Stahala, who's very interested in working on putting forward some conservation ideas as to how are we going to deal with this.
We are concerned because nests are being predated, the chicks are being eaten, as well as adults being killed inside the nests by predators such as cats and raccoons. And that's actually quite a large concern right now, because if we start losing breeders as well as the young of the population, then we'll see a decline in this population as well. And it's something we're trying to ameliorate right now by removing some of the predators out of the park.
In recognition of the fragility of the Abaco population of parrot, the Abaco National Park was created in 1994.
We wanted to make sure that we protected their nest areas as well as foraging areas to make sure that this population of the parrot didn't fall by the wayside. And here come the parrots.
Stahala spends many weeks each year documenting the parrots' population numbers, as well as their eating and nesting habits.
When we're out here, we look for signs of the birds having a nest cavity or breeding. So we're looking for either the male sentinel or both of the birds sort of scouting out an area, being territorial to an area, and using those behaviors, we then find the nests. And, well, what do we do with the nests? Well, we monitor them. We want to see how successful they are. If they're not successful, why not?
We now know, because of the research done by Frank Rivera, that the population in Inagua is way healthier. We've probably got between 3,000 and 5,000 birds in Abaco, and we probably have 18,000, 20,000 birds in Inagua. Very good, healthy population down there. Very widespread, though. Very difficult to have a place to protect them because they are all over the place.
They're very partner specific because we tend to think that you see birds flying all over, but we don't really tend to look at them as social animals sometimes, and they actually partner up.
The parrots on Inagua, they don't have as many predators or as many threats to them as here on Abaco, primarily because of the nest sites. On Inagua, they nest a little bit higher, so they're a bit more protected than here on Abaco. Also, there isn't the development pressure that Abaco is starting to see, so you're not getting all the influences of habitat fragmentation, loss of foraging areas, and introduction of more and more predators into the area.
So we may have to work with developers to leave some coppice area, change the way the land is cleared surrounding the park, be more environmentally sensitive, have some, borders around the park that stay very forested. Yes, we've protected the breeding area, but more importantly, we need to protect some more foraging area for the parrots. So it's not going to do them any good to have a place to breed and then not have any place to eat.
We did find 2 limestone cavities on Great Inagua, so we know that they're capable of nesting in other sites as well. So what we want to find out now is if Abaco parrots are also capable of nesting up in trees. The Bahama parrot probably disappeared from the rest of the Bahamas because of agricultural development, as well as them being considered crop pests at times. As you may know, they feed on anything that's fruiting or flowering.
We've done some genetic studies, and we don't have all of the work that's come in, but we probably have 2 distinct genetic populations as well.
Since there are only 2 populations of the Bahama parrot left, it's really important to protect what we have left. The Bahama parrot is definitely one of the most unique and most charismatic species that I've ever been involved with. There they go.
Summer in the Bahamas. The weather is hot, but not as hot as the ZNS summer packages. Get ads on ZNS TV or ZNS Radio Network or the TV community page, or a combination of all 3. ZNS has got you covered with great prices, whatever package you choose. Book before June 7th and get the local Federation Championship Baseball bonus full of all kinds of extras free of charge. Contact your account executive or call ZNS Sales at 502-3800 today. Hot summer package rates valid until July 31st.
The National Voice turns 89, and we're inviting you to celebrate with us. Sunday, May 25th, we're taking you to church for our 11 a.m. service live from Grace Community Church in Palmetto Avenue. Then, join us for the Awesome God concert live from Southland Cathedral on Soldier Road beginning promptly at 7 p.m. I'm talking Christopher Roberts, Simeon Outen, Shabak, Dwight and Brister, E-Man, Carity Newton and Southland Music, DJ Godson, and much more. This concert is totally free, so come and celebrate with us.
Cash Primary School Boys Club of Excellence program
is a very beneficial program to the boys because when they are here, I have seen some of our most troubled boys turn around.
We selected a school where you can make an impact from an elementary stage. The program is really to give the young men an outlet to do something different.
There are more times that every child is not academic, they are also technical. And this is one of the clubs that helps to push that because education is very important and we need to bring more people in to encourage our children.
We want to show them that this is a life that they can live. They're exposed to men in the community that are all about making young men better. Crime-free.
Looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
The Hidden Disabilities Sunflower is a globally recognized symbol for persons with invisible disabilities.
The sunflower lanyard made our journey less stressful, smoother, and more inclusive.
At Harold Bond, I'm Ted Jervis, and this is ZNS.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
Excitement is in the air, filling pretty much everywhere here in Grand Bahama, as the sign is now everywhere that Grand Bahama is indeed turning the point. That means the economy about to get better, job opportunities about to be made more available, and life about to get back to what many people call the glory days of Grand Bahama. Good evening, everyone. I'm Clint Watson. Welcome to the special edition of The Rundown, coming to you live from the ballroom of the Grand Lucayan Hotel in Grand Bahama, where today it was filled with people anticipated for the next for this island. Investors ready to sign and get ready to get the Grand Bahama economy lifted and back on track. It's going to be an exciting night tonight. It's been a long day for us here at the Broadcasting Corporation. You've been with us all day from shortly after noon, this afternoon, around 1:30, when we first came on the air to talk about this deal, and then we went to the signing of the deal. And after we witnessed the signing and heard the wonderful speeches, then it was outside to see the demolition begin for the Lanai Suites. Signaling that the contractors and the investors are ready to begin their work. And then it was on to celebrate with a reception. And then across the road, John Canoe took us to the Port Lucayan Village. And that's where we understood that the investment will continue and they will be a part of the reconstruction efforts and the revitalization as well. We continue tonight's coverage. Of course, reporters have been busy all day on the air, keeping us up to date. The party's still going on at Port Lucayan. I'm told it's winding down now, but there are people there. We're going to go to our Jay Philippe, who's a part of our team coverage tonight, and talk to Jay about who's with him as he is there. Jay Philippe is there. Good evening, Jay, and tell us who you have with you. Okay, while we're getting Jay set up, we're going to tell you what happened earlier today so that you understand how the investment deal was inked and, of course, the wonderful remarks that came. Joan Davis Roll has that story to bring you up to speed on what took place earlier today.
It was a grand day on Grand Bahama as a new chapter was written in this island's history. Holding the golden pen was none other than the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis. Delayed but not denied, as the historic signing of the heads of agreement signaling the sale of the multi-million-dollar Grand Nicaragua Resort was held. Hailed as the visionary and beaming with pride as he rose to the podium and to standing ovation, the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis.
I intend to leave behind real results for the people of Grand Bahama. Jobs, infrastructure, healthcare, opportunity, and most of all, dignity. That's what matters. That's what lasts. What a blessing it is to be here with you today, to be able to come together to share triumph rather than tragedy. Every island in our country carries its own story, but Grand Bahama's story is unlike any other. You have faced economic downturns and the strongest storms in nature's arsenal. Yet no matter the force of devastation, when the waters recede, the people of Grand Bahama rise.
Excited and introducing the master plan for this massive redevelopment, which carries a price tag in excess of $300 million, was Concord Wilshire executive Nate Sarang, along with the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie.
I would like to especially thank Honorable Prime Minister Davis, who has put so much time, energy, effort, and heart into this asset. And thank you for trusting our company with this beautiful resort and this opportunity to not only reignite this resort, but to create one of the most unique mixed-use destination resorts in the Bahamas.
Today is another grand day, and this right here is a very, very big deal for the people of Grand Bahama Island.
One of the most stirring messages delivered from this podium today came from a top executive of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, who not only sang the praises of the government, but indeed the Prime Minister.
This deal had the fingerprints of leadership on it. It got special attention from our Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Philip Brave Davis.
The deal has now been sealed, and Grand Ship has finally come in. And in the words of the Prime Minister, all and sundry are welcome to be a part of this new and exciting chapter of this Northern Island. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Joan Davis-Roll.
All right, thanks a lot, Joan, there. And you got a chance to see how it all unfolded before they actually began to sit down and sign. The investors signed, and then, of course, signing on behalf of the government was the Secretary of the Cabinet, Nicole Campbell, and the Director of Investments, Felicia Hannah Woods. And, of course, it was an opportunity for many to stand and witness and recognize that this is actually happening. Deputy Prime Minister signaling money in the bank. No need to worry. This one is definitely going to happen. And as you heard from the various investors and partners involved in the project, and you hear them describe and talk about what they're going to do, what they're going to create, from the partners in the casino to the partners with the golf course to the partners with the second home ownership that will take place here, and to long-term ownership and to the mini resort. You recognize that it indeed is coming together. And also Port Lucayan is expected to be a part of that revitalization, something that vendors are no doubt are excited about. They've been waiting on it for a long time. As a matter of fact, the party is pretty much wrapping up over there now. They had a party over there. Jay Philippe is standing by over there talking to people about what this all means. Jay, good evening.
Clint Watson, it's certainly been a long day. However, this long day has been filled with excitement, entertainment, but more importantly, action. As the government signed the heads of agreement with the developer in Grand Bahama. And I'm joining with me Kirk Hortonsworth, who is a resident in Grand Bahama, also known as Coach H. But the Prime Minister mentioned in his remarks, Kirk, that you were the person that introduced the developer to him, which means that you played a very intricate role. Tell us, how did all that happen?
Well, let me first begin by saying thank you to the Prime Minister for giving me an opportunity to serve as one of his consul generals in the Miami area, along with 7 other states. part of my responsibility is that of foreign direct investment. And of course, being a Grand Bahamian, when we first began our conversation, he said to me, now, you're from Grand Bahama. I expect for you to find something. And I was like, you're putting pressure on me, Brian. But you know, I took it very seriously. A couple of friends of mine, associates that I became acquainted with, we began the road of searching for the right fit. And when we came across this super gentleman, Mr. Steve Sarang, and he expressed an interest, we flew into Freeport, took a look at the property, and right away, within about an hour, he said, I want this. And so we returned back to Florida. I came over about 3 weeks later, met with the Prime Minister here in Freeport, and I said, I want to introduce you to someone. And I simply said, I think this is the right fit. I introduced him to Steve Sarang over the phone. Subsequently, we met in Miami, but before that, the Director of Investment met with myself and Steve and his group, and it all began. The Prime Minister came over to Florida. We had a dinner meeting, and today, after 15 months of quietly moving through the storm, I'm elated to be a part of what is considered a historical event for Grand Bahama, with the rebirth of something that we've been looking for a number of years. So I'm very, very happy to be a part of this, and I'm grateful that God has placed me in a position where Grand Bahamians can be proud of our efforts.
Kirk, you also mentioned that it was a right fit. DPM, Chester Cooper mentioned that they did not want a quick fix, but the right fit as well too. At what point did you guys start to negotiate? How long the negotiations before today's agreement on what they signed?
Well, to be honest with you, Steve knew what he wanted from the time he came onto the property, and he would have shared with myself and the Prime Minister what he wanted to do. He had a vision, and he said, I don't want to come into the Bahamas for 2 days. I want to build a relationship with the community. I want to be here for a long period of time. And all of a sudden, he began identifying individual brands, and he brought the best together. And as was explained today, we have a great opportunity to see Grand Bahama really rise from the ashes, if I can use that term.
I know you're also a sports guy. A part of development is also a major golf course, and that's going to be developed here in Grand Bahama. What does it mean for the sporting opportunities as far as golfers from all around the world being able to come here and compete on a large level?
Oh, absolutely. I love golf myself, and having had the opportunity to sit with Greg Norman myself, along with Steve, and talking about the golf courses and what he has done, because I've seen one of the golf courses right in Holland in Florida that he did. I'm excited for the golf potential here in Grand Bahama. As you know, Jay, Grand Bahama used to be one of the top destinations for golf. We had about 6 or 7 golf courses here, and I think with the start of this project, we are going to see the renaissance of golf again on this island. Quietly we're trying to see if we can access a couple more of the golf courses here. So great opportunities for us here. And not only in golf, but we got some other things that I'm going to be looking forward to in sports myself.
Also, Kurt Hollingsworth, as far as persons that are tuning in right now, they didn't have a chance to really watch the broadcast all day. What's going to be the very next step for the government as it relates to ensuring that this project comes to fruition?
Jay, I'm not going to answer that question. But I think the government, under the leadership of our Prime Minister, he is very slow to respond. But when he does it right. And I'm kind of like that myself. And, I'm going to continue to work because there's a lot more work to be done in Grand Bahama. A lot more businesses that we are working on to try and bring to Grand Bahama, and the future looks bright.
There you have it, Consul General for Miami, Kirk Watersworth, a native of Grand Bahama, served as a former principal and coach, and he talked about, the Prime Minister spoke about Kirk Watersworth's involvement with the project. He initially introduced the Prime Minister to the developers, and here today, ladies and gents, we have the official heads of agreement assignment, as it's a brand new day, here on Grand Bahama. We're hoping to see the best. Back to you in studio, Clint.
Thank you, Ajay Philippe, reporting and putting some good questions. I remember when the Prime Minister made that announcement about Kirk Hollingworth earlier today. Those are some of the questions I had. I wanted to find out. But it goes to show you that when you are given a diplomatic post, you are there to function and to work, right? You are there to see how best you can advance your country and how best you can find opportunities for your country. This here is huge for the Prime Minister to say that it was his Consul General in Miami who he said, listen, you got to find something for Grand Bahama. He went and found something, and it turned out to be golden. And so if there is any example of a Consul General who has done their job, it's Kirk Hollingsworth, right? Because you're not there to just have a good time, live a life of luxury, live off the government, and don't bring together any ties or connections to advance the country. You are there in a diplomatic post so that you can make the Bahamas better. And at the end of the day, he's from Grand Bahama. What better way to be able to say, I've done my job, than to be able to deliver on an investment that perhaps will turn this economy around or be the catapult to the turnaround with all of the other investments that are going on Grand Bahama. So hats off to him. That's what working in the diplomatic corps ought to produce for your country. Results, opportunity, job enhancement, improved economy, and really a better life for people. I think it's important to say that money is in the bank. I keep saying that because that's what the Deputy Prime Minister has said. People have said, oh, it's a heads of agreement. I see one of our viewers online questioning, well, you know, is it really sold because it's only a signing of a heads of agreement? No, it's not only a signing of a heads of agreement. That's why it's so important to listen and to understand when these deals come forward, because we've been told money is in the bank. The sale has already taken place. This isn't a signing to hopefully let's seal the deal. We were told today by the government that it has taken place. Money's in the bank, and these investors are ready to begin work. You don't begin work if you've not purchased the property. So, you know, let's not begin to put out scenarios or put out stories that are not true. The government says they've already done their due diligence. The investors have come forward with their money. Money's in the bank. They're ready to begin developing their project, which now belongs to them. I think that's important. Let's hear some more from what took place today at the signing today. Cleopatra Murphy was also in the room, and she filed a report also on what took place. Take a look.
The redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan Resort will soon be underway after President of Concord Wilshire, Nate Sarang, unveiled plans for the $827 million investment set to include a 35-acre destination resort, a 350-room branded hotel, and a 120-unit timeshare residential resort during a ceremony for the signing of the heads of agreement for what will become the new Grand Lucayan Resort and Village Thursday.
We collaborate and we design and build with the cities and the communities around our projects. And that's exactly why the Grand Lucayan was such a perfect fit for us. We're committed to being here besides you as your neighbors and partners to bring back tourism, jobs, and a strong economy to Freeport. But most importantly, to bring a lot of your Grand Bahamians back home.
It is a 7-cylinder project inclusive of a golf course, casino, and other features. Minister of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, says the sale sets the foundation for long-term economic growth for Grand Bahama, adamant that with Concord Wilshire, government has struck the right deal.
A redeveloped Grand Lucayan Hotel and the surrounding areas is a key plank in the overall ecosystem of this island. With nearly $1 billion of new investment today, the project is intended to be redeveloped, as you have already seen and heard, as a first-class, world-class, not just a resort, but a world-class destination in and of itself.
It's set to create 1,750 permanent jobs, and Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, says the signing signals renewed hope and better days ahead for Grand Bahama.
The redevelopment of this iconic property will stimulate jobs, create more opportunities for local businesses and entrepreneurs, generate new developments in the hospitality, retail, and real estate sectors, increase heads and beds, and breathe new life into our island.
Grand Bahama Port Authority President Ian Roll also praised the deal, one he says the body is pleased to partner with government on.
What was closed is being reopened. What was lost is being redeemed. This is not just a milestone. It was a marathon. And now we declare that the race was not in vain.
U.S. Chargé d'Affaires Kimberly Furnish says it's a momentous occasion that marks a new beginning for the resort and Grand Bahama.
We are thrilled to witness firsthand the revitalization of Grand Bahama. And we are even more elated to know that a U.S. company and U.S. investment are leading the way in strategic and impactful foreign investments on this island.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
All right, thanks a lot, Cleo. And joining me here at the desk is a man who's been working hard, just as hard as all of us all day, if not harder. He's been carrying the broadcast all day. Anchor here in the north, Mr. Remiko Knowles. I know it's a long day and you can't wait to get home and just be able to unwind and relax. But you have been able to cover so many of these stories about Grand Lucayan, about what was happening, how the people felt about the port and the vendors. And then you've seen the challenge people have had because this property has not been operating at its full capacity. And you've got an opportunity today. How do you feel today as a Grand Bahamian?
As a Grand Bahamian, words cannot describe how I feel. I more so feel it for the people of Grand Bahama. I've never left. Been here 36 years, so I know I've seen the hardship. I've seen the economic struggle. I've seen the highs, the lows, everything that we've experienced in Grand Bahama. Basic from 2004, that's the earliest that I can remember from the closing of Princess Resorts. After 2004, Hurricane Jane and Francis, and then we went to 2016. This, as a teenager, memories closed. I remember, well, as an adult, I was an adult. Memories closed, and I had friends who worked there. I've seen them struggle to find employment after that. 3 years later, Hurricane Dorian.
Wow.
After that, the COVID-19 pandemic and the economy shutting down. So Grand Bahama has gone through so much. Grand Bahamians have gone through so much. We've been talking about it forever because that's been our story. That's what it's been for us. And many people have gotten tired of saying that we're resilient.
Right,
gotten tired of saying that Grand Bahama is resilient. And naturally, because we don't want to be resilient anymore, we're ready to thrive. We're ready to experience the economic boom that all of the other islands seem to be experiencing. And today, we got a glimpse of what is to come. So we're hopeful. I don't think anyone in Grand Bahama who has experienced what we've been through over the past 2 decades wants to see anything fail.
Right.
With this deal, with this redevelopment, with all of the projects that are on tap for Grand Bahama, Carnival, the shipyard, exquisite yachts, the hospital,
Royal Caribbean,
Royal Caribbean. Nobody wants to see these things fail because the reality of it is, and I speak with the ministers, and I hear things, and I hear one of the things the Minister of Grand Bahama said to me is that we have lost so many people in Grand Bahama.
Yeah.
So many people has left. I think she said we went from 60,000 to 40,000 between 2019 to date. So getting these people to come back home, and the reality of it is they want to come home. But now we've heard that we have a reason to come back home. So Grand Bahama, as a Grand Bahamian, I feel proud.
Good stuff. Devontae Hanna has someone with him. He's over in the square as well. Devontae, good evening. Who do you have?
Well, Clint, you know, it's been a pretty exciting day, a long day, but of course it's one that means a whole lot to people in Grand Bahama, but specifically to the people that work in this area. I have found a group of vendors at Port Lukaya. I know that, you know, Port Lukaya has been described as the Grand Lucayan was described as the lifeline for you vendors. You know, what does this moment mean to you, finally seeing that there was a sale or a heads of agreement signing and there's money in the bank? What does this moment mean for you?
It means everything to Grand Bahama and Port Lukaya. As you said, we've been waiting for so long for a move like this. And like I said before, it doesn't matter who government bring it in. We just need it done in Grand Bahama because the spin-off is going to be to Freeport and the Port Lukaya because Port Lukaya is the largest private sector in Grand Bahama, but it's also the tourist destination of Grand Bahama. And so with that in mind, with over 400 to 500 stores up here, the spin-off and the family which will be affected is far beyond. So we welcome this. We have straw vendors for second generation, all of us here, second and third generation. 54 years, 30 years, 40 years, right here and right now. So we've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of Port Lukaya. And so right now, we welcome this.
You talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, since 2016, this hotel has been not really closed, but it's not been operating at its full capacity. How hard has it really been, you know, dealing with Dorian, dealing with Matthew, dealing with the COVID pandemic? How hard has it really been after all of these years?
Many times we went on the media circuit and spoke about it, but a lot of people didn't believe us because they think they couldn't fathom wherein you be out here from 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and when you leave, you barely have $30. And you have to pay mortgage, you have to pay light bill, you have to pay rent, you have to put kids in school, you have to put kids in college if they are abroad. So it was extremely difficult. And even as of this week, wherein we had so much activities up here, we still had it bad. Wow. But the thing about this is that we see hope. That's the beauty in this. We see a future. We see something coming. And not talking, but coming. Yeah. And so that's the beauty in this.
Yeah. I want to bring some of the ladies in here. You know, he spoke about how difficult it was. What are some of the things that you guys had to do in order to make it from day to day without this hotel?
Well, we had to sit down for hours and hours before we could make $1. But if you have that drive, you will not stop coming to work. Because this is your bread and butter, and this all we live on. You see?
And how confident, obviously the government has been talking for a while about getting a sale. And I see a lot of people now, they seem as if this is it. I know the last two sales, it was like, man, I ain't worrying with them, but you're sure this time.
Yes, because I can say I had dope. But after I see he really mean and I look in his eyes and I see...
Whose eye?
The Prime Minister eye. What do you think? I want to be sure because I be out here every day and I'm making $1. Some week I be out here the whole week or whole month before I make $1. But the end of the day come, those people looking for their rent. And when they give us a deadline till on the 15th. And after the 15th you want to pay that money, door closed. So it's very hard.
How happy are you for this to actually come to pass?
I am very happy and optimistic about our future there in the market. Very.
Yeah. And what do you look forward to most when it comes to this new sale? Obviously, 3 new hotels to come, so that means there's dozens of people, and then obviously it's 1,700 jobs as well. How happy are you about that?
I'm very happy. I'm looking forward for money. Lots of money.
Yeah, plain and simple, right? Plain and simple. I want to bring you in here. You know, they talk about how difficult it is. What do you look forward to in the future when it comes to this project?
Just to be able to come out and make a living. Because we have kids, we have our family, we have rent, we have mortgages, we have bills. And most Grand Bahamian doesn't like to ask or beg. So this will give us the opportunity to come out here and make a living without asking anything.
No handouts. Yeah. And obviously, you know, you mentioned, you know, sometimes you wanted to give up. Was there ever any moments where you wanted to say, you know, forget it, let me get a 9 to 5? What really kept you with our Bahamian culture?
Your kids, your bills, keep you going.
Yeah.
I love dealing with tourists. I like meeting new people every day, so that's why I come out. I sit down, I wait on my time, and God has been good to me.
All right, well, all the best to you guys. Yep, and I'm happy. So I like you guys are happy that this is it.
This is it. This is
it. This is it.
Michael Jackson said this is it, right?
This is it.
But he died, but we still alive.
Oh, man. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I said we still alive.
So this really it. Well, there you have it. These residents, these vendors, like I said earlier, they depend on this hotel almost like a lifeline when it comes to Port Lukaya. Those are third and fourth and second generation vendors, straw vendors, who over these last 9 years have been working. She said that she struggled to even make $30 a day when some days they take home thousands when this hotel was around. And obviously they're very happy, and they said that this is it. They looked the Prime Minister in his eye, and they were confident, and they felt assurance, I should say, that this sale is final. So, you know, I'm happy. They're happy again. I'm going to send it back to you in studio, Clint.
Thank you, Devontae. It's so exciting to see Grand Bahamians happy again, right? And I think this is why I tell people we have to look beyond the politics of it, right? Because here it is, this community which has been down for so long, which has persevered for so long. And you said it. You're tired of hearing the word resilience attached to Grand Bahamians because, okay, yeah, you've been resilient. It's time now to flourish, right? Absolutely. And so people, again, are having renewed hope because there seems to be a glimmer of hope that it's going to turn around. Absolutely. After years of it being a struggle, it's going to turn around. Who could not want that for people? Who could not want that for people?
I'm shocked that there's anyone who may say that this is fake or this is something that is not happening, because the reality of it is anybody that wants to see this failed cares more about politics than they do about people.
You said it.
And that is a problem.
Nail on it. Nail on it.
When you talk to those vendors just now, like Devontae did, you could see that's the real deal. Yeah. It doesn't get no realer than that. Yeah. They're telling you about their struggles. People have sat out there 8, 9, 10 hours a day and carrying home $30, if $30. And they're doing that every single day. And when you hear what they have come from, the money that they used to make, what they have been experiencing over the last, like I said, decade, it is amazing. And so hope is the only thing we have, and that's all we're holding on to in Grand Bahama. That's all we will continue to hold on to. And I don't have any room in my head for negativity. I don't have any space in my spirit for it. I can't have it. We've been down too long. So I'm happy about every single thing that's happening. I'm looking forward to every single thing that's happening, as I'm sure every Grand Bahamian who has experienced what we've experienced are feeling today.
There's a saying that says, he who feels it knows it. Absolutely. And that's why I often tell my colleagues in Nassau that, listen, before you can condemn or complain or criticize, you've not lived what the people on Grand Bahama have lived. You've not gone through it. You don't know what it is to stand on line for no water, for not have electricity for days. BP are going for an hour now, so everybody going crazy. Everybody calling when electricity come back on. You know why? Because we've not had to go down that road. Absolutely. And I don't think we probably could handle going down that road, right? But that's why I say, if you don't live it, don't knock it and don't criticize it, because you don't understand what the people who have lived it have gone through. Absolutely. And so what they are looking for is, let me hold on to this hope and believe that this is going to happen. And I believe that no government will want to make sure it doesn't happen, because they realize what it's done to the people before. Yes. And so what we need to do is stand behind, rally behind, and say, let this be, let it happen, let it go through, because our people deserve the relief of pain and struggle and be able to enjoy a season of prosperity.
Yes. And that is the reason I believe everything was done the way it was done today. Everything was so transparent. There was nothing off the table as far as we're concerned as the national broadcaster. We were in every single room. We had access to every single thing, and not only us, other media stations as well. So you can't say that this is just one media station covering. Everybody had access. Everybody had the opportunity to ask questions, and the questions were answered. And so that's what I took away from this today. That's what I'm most appreciative of. Nothing is hidden. So there's more questions, obviously, from this, but we're going to get those answers. But today we have hope, and that's all we've been waiting for. Something, a shimmer, a glimmer, something, and we have gotten that. And so I understand why the government has been tight-lipped about everything up until this point, because we've been asking, when is this coming? When is this coming? And they said we're not speaking until we are sure. And I think that was something intentional, because they did not want to give the people of Grand Bahama false hope again. But today, we've seen everything. It's been transparent. It's laid on the table, and nearly $1 billion.
Wow. That's a big investment.
Absolutely.
Jay Philippe has somebody standing by with him out in the square. Let's send it over to Jay Philippe. Go ahead, Jay.
It's been an amazing day and exciting day here in Grand Bahama at the Port Lucaya Marketplace. Celebration ongoing in the back with the entertainers still celebrating. I have with me Alex Thompson, who's an ambassador for Grand Bahama, a well-known person. I know this heads of agreement assignment means so much for the island. For you personally, as a person that's involved with the community, with the Grand Bahama, downtown development, what does it mean for Grand Bahama?
It means that all the hope that everyone has had, they finally see it coming to fruition. I look at things from a perspective of a whole. So we have to look at what it means for the entire island. And what it means, like we said, construction jobs. Not only do we see construction jobs, but we see engineers, and we see architects, and we see project managers coming in. So we see real estate, we see development, we see growth. That means Bahamians in real estate need to now invest. If they haven't invested, they need to invest. Then we also see Grand Bahamians coming home. They're talking about jobs that need to be filled. Carnival held a job fair, and they had over 1,000 people show up. That just goes to show you that Grand Bahamians want to come home. And we have a lot of Grand Bahamians that were abroad, not only in the U.S., but also on different islands, that came back and that is working at Carnival. So Carnival is just the beginning, and now we have this project, and we have Six Sense, and we have Coral Villas, and we have more announcements coming about different job opportunities. So it means wonderful things, because outside of the jobs, then you have persons being able to send their kids to school, persons being able to invest in the community. Persons who are working may decide to branch out and be an entrepreneur and start a new business. So this is a catalyst to the resurgence that we've been expecting for Grand Bahama.
You know, Alex, I would have moved to Grand Bahama in 2004. It's now 2025, which makes 21 years. I've endured Hurricane. This is home for me. I've endured Hurricane Francis, Hurricane Jane, Hurricane Matthew, Hurricane Dorian, but I've never seen so much excitement on this island like what I've seen today. Very exciting.
Well, what happened is today is a culmination of what has happened over the last, I would say, the last 6 to 12 months. And there has been talk for a long time, and people want it. And like I said, this is about the elevation of Grand Bahama as a whole. For those that haven't seen it as yet, go back, look at the reports, see the transformation that's going to happen at Port Lucaya. And this is an agreement that encompasses not just the Grand Lucaya and all of its hotels, but also the Port Lucaya Marketplace. So the years back when we used to come out here and walk at the marina and look at the amazing yachts, that's coming back. And not just to see, but the development all around this area that's going to happen. And I think as a real estate agent and a business person in the community, I felt it for a while. And you know, we say we love Grand Bahama, and like you and other people who've moved here and stayed here, it's because there's something about Grand Bahama that keeps you. One, aside from the fact it's a beautiful, tranquil place, there's close proximity. If you want to hop on a plane to Nassau or hop on a plane to the U.S., you can. But what it has is you can feel the resilience of the people. There's something about being in a place where people are consistently hopeful, people consistently pushing, people consistently driving and elevating and encouraging each other, despite what it looks like. There's something about that resilient feeling that rises up like the phoenix, and I think that's what's happening with Grand Bahama right now.
Totally awesome. I see why you are an ambassador for Grand Bahama. Earlier today, I spoke with the owner of Rum Runners. I also spoke with one of the owners of Zorbas, and also one of the other restaurants in the jewelry store. And they were so excited about the news of today. You mentioned it has an impact. What kind of impact the sale really has on Port Lucaya?
Well, of course, what that's going to have is a lot of people say, oh, that's, months out. Let's just look at the demolition, okay? Let's look at the demolition. All of the persons involved in that demolition are going to come over to Port Lucaya. I had an opportunity to speak with the CEO of the resort section of Wilshire, the company, and one of the things he said is he came over to Port Lucaya, he had an amazing lunch and dinner, and he thought they are going to prioritize making Port Lucaya part of that experience on the Grand Lucayan. And for him, the CEO of the resort department to say that, that means they already want to incorporate all of Port Lucaya, the merchants, the marketplace, the straw vendors, all of them into this redevelopment project. But you know, the people in Port Lucaya, they're excited, and they're excited because now they know and they see. Just hold on a little bit while longer. But all of those people that are coming in, for example, today, Port Lucaya was busy today. Busy not just with the people who came down for this event, but locals. The square has people in it. All the restaurants, all the bars out here tonight are full. People are eating and enjoying the night. I mean, why not celebrate? It doesn't matter what side of political fence that you're on. Why not celebrate something great for Grand Bahama? And I think that's why, in particular, Port Lucaya Marketplace and the vendors and the shop owners that are here are overjoyed.
Certainly, this heads of agreement signing today is going to mean a lot. It's going to have a trickle-down effect on Grand Bahama with Port Lucaya, with taxi drivers, with restaurants, with persons having an opportunity to return home to work. It's certainly a great day to be a Grand Bahamian, and we're looking forward to many more things happening here in Grand Bahama as it relates to the state of the hotel and Port Lucaya. Back to you, Clint Watson in the studio.
All right, thank you, Jay Philippe, reporting there. It's one message. It's one message. No, Grand Bahamians are just saying one message. No one's asking which side you support, who you behind. People just want this for the people of Grand Bahama. And I love what she said again, the fact that people want to come home.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the message that, of course, the Minister of Grand Bahama has been preaching for a long time now. I mean, several months now, maybe from last year. It is time to look at avenues to come back home. It is time to get prepared. And that is the thing, that's what needs to happen next. We now need to prepare for what is coming because it is here, and now it's time to prepare. And that's all we've been asking for, and we have it.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more about this great announcement here on Grand Bahama. You're watching The Rundown live from Grand Bahama. We're back after this. Stay close.
Striping group of companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overall action goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching our young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that can take them further in life.
Mailboat service is a critical service to the islands of the Bahamas. Certainly, Andrews has always been there and dear to us. That's where we're born and raised. And so we play a crucial role in advancing the growth and development of Andrews. Customers want service and they want consistency. From the start, that's been our commitment. We work to sail on time every time. Our customers have come now to expect this from us. And one of the biggest challenges we've had was finding adequate funding. SPDC from the very start has been a lifesaver. My advice to young people, if you have a vision, a passion, an idea, go for it. Don't give up. It's not easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. Be consistent and you'll get there.
Welcome back to The Rundown. We're coming to you live from Grand Lucaya Resort in Grand Bahama on a very big, significant day of announcement about this particular resort. We talk about how it's going to impact so many people throughout Grand Bahama, particularly across the way at Port Lucaya vendors. And our Raven Davis spoke to vendors. You heard some of them talk about it tonight, but there were more we spoke to on what this means to them. Let's take a look at that package.
The Grand Lucayan was open, my darling. We experienced mega
mega amount of sales.
It's a far cry from how things once were. For vendors at the Port Lucayo Marketplace, the resort's closure marked the beginning of a long economic drought. But now, with redevelopment plans back on the table, some are daring to hope again. The Grand Lucayan, once a thriving hub for tourism, has sat in disrepair since Hurricane Matthew in 2016. For longtime vendors like Ernestine Markland, the downturn has been difficult to endure.
It's like going from 0 to 100 because you know what it is to go from once making sufficient funds that we were the ones who fueled our children's going to college and what have you without a problem to being the ones who needed a handout from the government just to survive. So with the sale of the hotel, we will definitely see an improvement in not only our pocket, but the economy of Grand Bahama.
Her experience is echoed by veteran woodcarver Terrence McKenzie, who says he's had to pivot just to stay afloat.
I used to make money like sometimes $1,000 a week, sometimes $1,500 a week. Yeah, my breakfast used to be like $100, my lunch would be $100. But now, it's a struggle now for me to make it, and I got to do wholesale. And that's how I survive,
And yet, optimism remains cautious. Failed deals with Royal Caribbean ITM Group and Electra America Hospitality left many disillusioned. But this time, these vendors say the energy feels different and there's no room for doubt.
God is so good and faithful that the Lucayo, yes, he's doing it again. I am so overwhelmed, and I thank God. I am so appreciative that the sale of the hotel will go through. It means then that monies will return back to us, the vendors.
Now, with just hours to go before the anticipated signing, Nixon says she is hopeful that a reopened Grand Lucayan could also restore the once vibrant marketplace to its former glory, giving tourists a true taste of Bahamian culture.
There used to be the time when we used to have the Junkanoo rush outs. You used to have the Junkanoo man, Mr. Sanders, on the walkway, dressed in his Junkanoo uniform, speaking about the culture. And so I would like to see some of that happening again.
All right, our Raven Davis reporting there. It's been that kind of optimism. People want to see things turn around. They want to see a change. They want to see a new day, and that's not cliches or political. It's a new day meaning they want to see different. They want to see things succeed, and pretty much when that begins to happen, then people know that the turnaround is right around the corner and they can have some level of prosperity out there. And so it's beginning to happen. People are feeling it. You've heard some of the big players today who are part of this revolution and this revitalization. And so it's going to happen. We're going to wrap up things in a couple of minutes, but our guys are coming back in, and you can get Jay mic'd and get him over here. Get a chair, Jay, and join us once they have you mic'd. But Devontae Hanna is here, and obviously this is people are happy.
Yeah. What a day, first of all.
Yeah.
We started this all at 1 o'clock for us, but the ceremony started at 2 o'clock. But from arriving here on Grand Bahama yesterday to now, you could feel the energy. You could feel where people have this sense of hope, and Grand Bahama has dealt with a whole lot over the past 2 decades. And so now to see that this major injection is now coming into this economy, people are just happy.
Yeah.
And they're happy to see the possibilities that can come because of this, When you hear the story of Kurt Hollingsworth, just connect, that's amazing,
I was telling the total audience, you probably didn't hear, but I said that's the role of our diplomats away.
Yep.
Your job is to kind of make connections, better your island, make opportunities. He hit the nail on the head with this.
Definitely. And when I sit back and I think about it, that's the possibility of what could happen.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to be in these, in the casino. You never know what's going to be in these hotels. And you have our Bahamian artisans who will be putting their work on display. You have people in the restaurants. The possibilities are endless when you come when you think about developments so big, such as this one, which is just huge.
Yeah,
you
$1
know?
billion,
And 3 hotels. I just was telling somebody today, I've never heard of a poolside casino.
It's going to be the first.
And I'm going to be a little controversial. I didn't need to allow Bahamians to gamble. I would like to try it.
In the casino.
I would like to
they can gamble now. In the casino, you mean.
Right.
Oh, boy.
But, you know, it's and I don't mean to be, you know, facetious about it at all, but, you know, it's just an amazing experience to be here, and it's simply just amazing to see all of this actually happen and actually play out.
All right, Jay Philippe, you're here. You're in Grand Bahama. We're visiting. How do you feel about what's about to unfold?
But I've been here for 21 years. I must say today is simply an amazing day for Clint and Devontae. While there's a lot of work to be done, this is just a good start. It's a good sign that things are going to happen. And I've been here for quite some time now. I haven't seen so much excitement throughout Grand Bahamians in such a long time. People are optimistic, and I'm talking about as far as the job opportunities that they create. You know, persons on this island for a long time have been saying there's no work. There's no job. Many persons in the hospitality field would have went to Bimini for work. The different keys, Castaway Key, Great Harbor Key, Cocoa Key. They would have left they would have left their island to go into these different family islands and keys for hospitality experiences. Now they are able to come back and be productive citizens here in Grand Bahama. I also saw in one of the articles where the government has agreed that at least 80% of the workers from this project will be Bahamians. And that's a big deal. We talked about Kirk Holland's work. He was a guy that was behind the scenes that made so much connections. And this is just a great day for so many Grand Bahamians. Me being in the hospitality field for a long time as well, to talk about the taxi drivers, what's going to create. Port Lucaya, the amount of businesses that are going to reopen has been closed throughout the week. Throughout the weeks in Port Lucaya, in fact, the weekends are the popular days. But with this project coming on stream now, we can imagine the amount of opportunities it's going to create, not just for residents, but even the persons that are coming out of high school now that are graduating. The 12th graders, the 11th graders are looking for career opportunities. We can start to teach in schools now the importance of the different availabilities in hospitality tourism, operations, being a stewardess, being a front desk manager, being a front desk agent, being a tour operator. All of these opportunities are going to create so many opportunities for Grand Bahamians, and that's just truly exciting.
You know what I also think about the University of the Bahamas, their northern campus? You know, it's a hotel, but there's so many careers within hospitality, and you have students now who don't have to go to UB Oaksfield to study. They could stay right at home. They could get a job at home. They could start working while they're in school and then build that as their career. And then even when you look at the hospital, Doctors Hospital is coming into play in the next few months. There's so much that is happening for Grand Bahama. I am not a Grand Bahamian, but I am Bahamian, and I am proud of what is happening here.
You can probably hear fireworks going on behind us. They're celebrating. But I'll tell you, it's a big day. We were here earlier this week doing site inspections, and Celebration Key staff, Carnival, had their orientation going on, and there were just scores of young people, young men who were in orientation. I said, wow, look at Grand Bahama. These people are all now employed. It's turning. It's turning, and as Bahamians, we ought to be proud tonight. And another big reason I am proud is because today could not have been possible without the amazing people of the Northern Service here at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. An amazing job today. I cannot be so much more prouder than my team and watching them execute this broadcast. We've been on the air, believe it or not, people. We've been on the air from 1:30 this afternoon, straight through. And it's the people of the Northern Service that turned out in full and demonstrated that they're professional, they're capable, and that they want to make sure we deliver a good product. And the Bahamas can be proud because of the Broadcasting Corporation tonight and the people of the Northern Service.
We may need to expand with what's happening with Grand Bahama.
You're not coming. You're not coming. No, you're not coming.
Hey, like the minister would have said, it's certainly a big deal. I live here.
You'll be great right now, sir. And now some people thank you for your support today as well to make this happen with the Broadcasting Corporation. One team, 2 locations, one team, but a great team. And that's why you are your nation's leader in news and information, and we are indeed ZNS. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better. This concludes our broadcast tonight. Don't forget the Bahamas Night at 11 with Royston Jones. We'll have another recap of what's going on today. But this ends our live broadcast from 1:30 today. I'm so grateful again. Thank you so much for making us your station for news and information. We are looking for greater days for Grand Bahama. Good night, everyone.
I'm Opal Roach. This is ZNS.
It's time for Focus Forward, sponsored by Invest Grand Bahama. It's Grand Bahama's best talk show, highlighting all of the positive things happening in Freeport. Look forward to our special guests each week that will tell you about events, activities, and initiatives that are making a remarkable impact on our community. You'll also hear from local business owners and get a heads up on deals and special promotions. It's time to Focus Forward. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Grand Bahama's Best Talk Show, Focus Forward, sponsored by the Invest Grand Bahama unit of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. My name is Glendia Sweeting, Manager of Quality Assurance and Special Projects at the GBPA, and I am joined by my co-host, Alex Thompson, the Director of Public Affairs at the Downtown Freeport Business Association. Okay. Alex, I guess I got it right today because she didn't say anything when I introduced her. Did I get it right?
You missed something.
Goodness, what did I miss?
We are at the Freeport Business Expo. Business.
We haven't gotten there as yet.
But what else do we do?
Okay. So we are on location at the Grand Lucayan Hotel for the Freeport Business Expo Tourism Edition 2025. Second year.
Second year.
Yes. Another opportunity for all Bahamians to be able to come together with international providers that are here more than last year. International providers to have an opportunity to do some new things in the tourism space. So, have you been on the expo show floor?
I just want to put that out there. I was very prophetic because last year I said this was going to be the first and annual.
You did.
And we did it.
Right.
You know what?
You'd think that you just write the budgets to be saying these things, but okay.
I just do it, yes. But I have been on the show floor, and I'm excited because I know without a doubt some of the things that we see inside there that we're now going to see in Grand Bahama real soon because the opportunities are here, which means the opportunities available for everyone, for Grand Bahamians, but also for Bahamians as a whole.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would venture to say that some of these products are already here. Some of the persons that would have gotten involved from last year's show. So we're talking about real results and not just taking a look at what's here and hoping that it comes. It's already
here. It's not in the pipeline.
It's not. It's out of the pipeline.
It's out of the pipeline.
Yes, it's out of the pipeline. It's done. It's done. Hands on. You could touch it. Tangible. Yes. So we're really, really excited about it. And of course, we want to encourage you, if you're watching this right now, make sure that you share the link. Tell somebody. Take a look. Watch it. ZNS nationally, our news, our TV, obviously ILTV, and you can listen out on the radio stations here across Grand Bahama. So thank you guys so much for being with us. Make sure that you share all of this good stuff. But without further ado,
okay, I'm ready to go.
We have some wonderful guests that are right here, right now, on the show floor, in the room, that would have come to. I think we always have real people.
Just make it show up. Just make it show
we always have real people. They are here, and we're so delighted, so excited, and so grateful to be able to have them joining us. So we would like to welcome to the Focus Forward show for the very first time, and also to the Freeport Business Expo, Miss Erica Lewis, who is from the Embassy of the United States of America, and she is the Political Economic Unit Chief. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us here. We're really honored.
You're in Newbie. You get a round of applause.
Thank you.
And of course, our second guest, who needs no introduction.
None.
This gentleman, no, everybody knows him. But he certainly needs no introduction, and he is an entrepreneur extraordinaire here within the city of Freeport. He has created at least one business that we know of that is just...
One business?
At least one is what I'm saying.
All right.
That we know of that perhaps is just legendary and historical for the city of Freeport and the island of Grand Bahama. So, Mr. David Wallace from Pirates Cove Zipline and Water Park, the Managing Director, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
not only a pleasure to be with you ladies here on the show, but it's also a pleasure to be to the second trade show here on the island of Grand Bahama.
Say annual. You know you want to say
annual. You know, I have been going to these shows starting about 4 or 5 years ago in Orlando every November. The IAPA show has about 2,500 exhibitors, and so when I heard one was coming to Grand Bahama, I think it's good for everybody, not only on the island of Grand Bahama, but every family island. If you are serious in the tourism business, you should come to this show and see what these expo has to offer.
Wonderful. I love that. You almost took the whole show. Invitation. Wonderful invitation. Thank you so much, Mr. Wallace. And of course, we also want to welcome for the very first time to the Focus Forward Roundtable and to the Freeport Business Expo. I met this lady just a few days ago at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, was totally taken aback by the information that she was able to share. I'm really, really excited to have Mrs. Rolandra Francis Rowe, who is the private sector development consultant for IDB Lab that is here on Grand Bahama. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lindy. It's a pleasure to be here, guys. I'm really, really excited to be a part of the show, a part of this space, and really, really just support all of the work you're doing here in Grand Bahama.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Applause to because you're in it as well.
Drum roll.
Oh, okay. Drum roll. Again, drum roll for you. Drum roll for you. It's good. So let's just get into the conversation, right? Obviously, Ms. Lewis, you know, it's very interesting that the Embassy of the United States found it important enough to be here within the city of Freeport for this time at the Freeport Business Expo. Why was it so important to be here?
One of the things that I think is consistent is that there are tons of Americans who come to the Bahamas. You talk about 80% of the tourists that roughly come to the Bahamas are coming from the United States. We have millions of cruise ship passengers a year that come here. Americans own second homes, so we are deeply invested in the Bahamas. And so seeing the commercial economic success of the Bahamas is closely tied to our commercial and economic success. There are Bahamians who I meet all the time who have business interests in the U.S., who have their sole trade relationships and partnerships with businesses that are based in the U.S. And so I just feel like we're closely linked. So we're really honored to be here to just, I think, foster that partnership even more.
That's wonderful. And I also know that we do have a few of the businesses here. You would have been on just a brief tour a few moments ago and you had an opportunity to engage. What do you think about some of the exhibits that you would have seen with some of the internationals and a few of the locals?
They're amazing. I really think that this is the place to be. I just want to echo what I've heard already around the table. I'm seeing things in the water sports area. I'm seeing things just related to storage solutions. I'm seeing cold storage solutions as well. I'm just seeing a lot of different convenient and innovative solutions, I think, in the tourist space. And because tourism is the largest sector in the Bahamas, you know, the topic here is so relevant, and it's a topic that I think there's a lot of potential then to continue to expand and to continue to innovate. So really proud to see it looks like roughly a dozen U.S. companies are here represented, a number that haven't crossed, you know, paths with us at the embassy. So we're making new connections that can hopefully help them broaden their footprint here in the Bahamas and in the region, but at the same time, hopefully making connections with local companies here. I saw a number of candles that I want to pick up and a number of things that I've seen from local vendors, so I look forward to going around the floor again today. But again, you know, the partnerships that we can have also through our trade shows, I think are very impactful. So we've taken a number of Bahamians in the recent past to the U.S. to go to trade shows, focused on beauty, focused on a number of commercial goods. So look forward to being able to do more of that and making those connections here.
Okay, and just before we move on, I just have to ask one more question. I know that you guys have an exhibit booth. You are on the show floor and you're available. What are some of the things that the locals and the internationals can come to you to receive?
Absolutely. So first I'd say anything from a contact list. If you are a company that's interested in coming to the Bahamas, primarily we're focused on U.S. companies, we can provide a contact list through our network all the way to a gold key service. And so what we provide there is we'll set up meetings for you with government, with private company, you know, representatives to try to help you be able to then get into the door into the Bahamian market. At the same time, if you want to learn about upcoming trade shows or just come and share with us what your business is so that when we hear about opportunities, we can then mention your name and make sure that, you know, you're someone that we're keeping top of mind to potentially be able to expand to the U.S. So just, you know, anything that we can offer in the commercial economic space, please come and talk to us. And then also as it relates to just general business facilitation, if you're looking just to be be able to find out, well, what is the process? We can point you to the one-stop shop that exists here in Freeport. We can point you to resources in Nassau to be able to make those sorts of connections and elsewhere. So,
okay, well, it sounds like in the Bahamian vernacular, you're the plug.
Yeah, we're trying, definitely trying to be.
You're the plug. You're the person that we need to come to for sure. All right, so I have her name written down on, on the break. I'm gonna definitely make sure I get that private number and getting it down pat. All right, sitting next to you is the incomparable David Wallace. There's no one like you. None. And there's also nothing like the business that you have right now in the city of Freeport. So for those who only could be living on the rock if they don't know, tell them what is your business, what do you do, and how has this show benefited your business?
Pirate Cove Zipline and Water Park started on a cruise on board the Carnival Cruise Line. In 2009, I visited the island of Antigua. Had a little niece wanted me to do a zipline tour. I had never heard of a zipline before. I was not convinced to do the tour, but while on the city tour, lo and behold, I saw about 100 tourists standing on a line. I said to the bus driver, why are they standing on this line? He said they're ready to go on the zip line. I said, stop the bus, let me see what this zip line is. And lo and behold, these big trees in Antigua over the rainforest, they had connected them with these lines, and people were up there zipping from tree to tree. And the only thing that came to my mind was, wow, Tarzan and Jane has come full circle. I came up with a crazy thought of putting a zip line in the Bahamas. And lo and behold, I went to Orlando, Gatorland. They had put in a zip line. Like us in the Bahamas, they didn't have no big trees like Antigua. They had to put up lampposts. And so they became our role model. We got the information from them, and lo and behold, we were able to put a zip line in Freeport. The beautiful thing was the Port Authority leased us 7.43 acres of land on the beach. And so aside from putting in a zip line, one of our investors says, why not develop a beach opportunity? And that was the best thing we ever did. The numbers are phenomenal. And I don't think the Bahamians, especially the Grand Bahamians, understand the impact of what's going to happen to Grand Bahama with the arrival of Carnival Cruise Port. Presently, Carnival brings to Grand Bahama between 13 to 15 ships a month with about 350,000 passengers a year. They're now moving to 40 to 50 ships per month with about 2.5 million cruise passengers.
That's a lot of people.
Plenty people.
Plenty.
The other day, we had about 3 ships on the island with about 7,500 persons on the island. We had 1,500 persons in Pirates Cove Zipline and Water Park. We ran out of lounge chairs, tiki huts, picnic table. There was nothing left.
You ran out of it.
With 7,500 people. Okay. You could imagine when Carnival drops 2 cruise ships at their port with about 15,000 persons in total, and then Freeport Harbor